Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Live by Design with Grace Kariuki. As I have said before, I am a mental health therapist as well as a family and marriage therapist. So I'm very passionate about your mental health, and I'm also passionate about your relationships. I know that our happiness and our feeling of connectedness and goodness in life depends a lot on our relationship with ourselves and the relationship we have with others. So we started these segments on negative thinking, and today I want to talk about one of the sources of negative thinking. What happens to people that they become so negative about life and they cannot break away from the thoughts from those negative thinking? So number one, it's because of the way that you were raised, the environment within which you were raised. It could be what people said to you, what people did to you, or it could have actually been the internalization of what you experienced. So for instance, somebody may have experienced that I am not good enough. I am not like other boys who are strong and who are handsome and they can get whatever they want. So I begin to believe and I begin to build on the belief that I am not good enough, I'm not acceptable. And that in itself causes you to feel that you are not lovable. You are not a person that people will be drawn to, and you begin to develop feelings of shyness, and you may begin to develop feelings of self-hatred. And when that happens, as you grow up and as you become an adult, you find yourself struggling a lot with your own sense of identity. Who am I? You second guess yourself a lot, you question a lot of your decisions, and you look for people to affirm you a lot. You want validation and affirmation. It's very hard for you to deal with rejection. If somebody says that, oh, I'm sorry, this relationship is not working for me, you begin to take it in as there is something wrong with you. Now, if you grew up in a place where you are compared a lot with other people, you are told, why can't you be like your sister, your cousin, your brother, or whoever else that you are compared to, because you are not getting the marks they are getting, or you are not as hardworking as they are, you begin to develop a feeling of, I am not competent. I cannot be able to do things, or even do things perfectly, that everything I do, there is a problem with it. And that kind of thinking, that kind of negative thinking, once you grow up, you will work hard, you will become very successful, but you will continue to struggle with whether you are competent or not. So you also need a lot of validation from outside, even when you know very well that you are a good performer, that you do well, you are competent in whatever that you're doing. And so what happens to you is that you kind of develop a feeling of like you are an imposter. You feel like you even after you have presented something and you have done a good job, you judge yourself so harshly. If you question whether people were impressed, whether they liked it. If nobody tells you it was a good presentation, you feel so bad. If anybody tells you it was a good presentation, you don't believe them. You say, you are just saying that just to say it. You may not say that to the person, but the first thing that you think is that they are being nice. It's not that like you are competent. And also, there is also the feeling that anytime somebody tells you anything, you kind of question and you're going like, what do they really want? Because you think that people don't believe you're good except what they can get out of you. Now, there is also the issue of safety. You grow up in a home where there is toxicity, where there is a lot of hostility and violence, maybe not even physical violence. It can be emotional. It can be the fact that nobody really takes care of you, that you are neglected. You develop a feeling of non-safety. I am not safe. I'm not safe in this world. Let me say this to young mothers. When your baby is little, The way a baby communicates that she has needs or he has needs is through crying. So when you don't attend to your baby, that baby begins to develop the belief that the world is not safe and she cannot trust people, and her needs are not important. And so this whole thing of people saying that you cannot pick the baby up every time it cries, you will spoil it, I want you to think about that in terms of the child is actually communicating, I need something. So the moment you pick them up, then before they start screaming, then you help them to soothe themselves. But if they have to scream for you to come, then they begin to develop that nobody cares for me, I have to scream in order for people to pay attention to me. Then the other thing that we look for is control. We want to feel that we are capable and we are able to control the decisions in our lives. Now, if you grew up in a home where your parents or your caregivers did not allow you to make mistakes, they shielded you, they made the choices for you, and everything was perfect, when you go into the world, then you are lost. You feel that you cannot make any decision. People in marriage, when people come for marriage counseling, I hear this, that my husband or my wife cannot make any decision without talking to their parents. And when that is going on, when you see an adult who is doing that, is because when they were growing up, they were not given the sense that they are independent and they can make whatever decision they make. If they fail, they will be able to rectify it. So as children, when we are growing up, this kind of environments that we grow up in, they form a belief system within us. Those four things are very important for you to understand. Now, apart from how the environment that we are raised in, what we call nurture, how we are nurtured, there is also the issue of nature. The kind of person that you are, your temperament types, your personality traits. So if you are a melancholic are people who are quiet, they are reserved, they like to be alone, and they feel and they analyze, and they are very introspective. If you're not very careful and you are dealing with these four things that I talked about, you will find yourself not able to believe that you can be successful in life. If you are a choleric are the people who are go-getters, they are driven, and they are goal-oriented. If they grew up in that kind of an environment, they develop some sort of arrogance, and which doesn't help them when it comes to now their relationships. And then you have the phlegmatic. The phlegmatic is laid back. If his belief is on all these four things that I have said, or any one of them, they will never move anywhere. These are the people that we feel you cannot motivate them to do anything, because first of all, they were told they are not good enough, then they are not lovable, then it is not safe. So they will never take any risks because they are thinking it's not safe. And then if they feel that they have no control over their lives, they are not going to reach out and go out and be whatever they can be and push themselves. Then we have the sanguine, who just floats through life, whatever comes. They are the chameleons. I like to call them chameleons because they fit in everywhere, and you can never really know who they are, because again, growing up, they were not given the foundation to feel that this is who I am. They are not grounded. And so it's important, when you are thinking about your thinking patterns, the negative thoughts that you have, and you wonder, can I overcome this? I want you to begin to think about your upbringing, how you grew up, what you experienced as a child, and the beliefs that you took in. Lastly, I'm going to say, the more you think about life in a certain way, you develop what we call tracks in your brain. And these tracks are like the footpaths. When somebody starts walking somewhere and another person comes, it becomes a footpath. And everybody who comes around there, they will use that footpath. That's what happens in our brain. Luckily for us, just like footpaths, if you guys stop walking on that one and you create another one, then people will begin walking on the new one. our brain is very elastic, if I can use that word. It can retrain, it can be retrained, and it can be changed. And so when we are thinking about thought patterns, again, it's what the messages that are going on in our brain, we can change them, and absolutely we can create the kind of life that we want. Just remember, your life is really rooted in your thinking. Your thinking is where the hard drive of your whole system is. Your brain, that's where the messages are coming from. And so it is very important for you to mind your mind. And so I hope that this has given you something to be thinking about. Please leave us a note on the comments. Let us know how it has helped you, how it has triggered you, and also what kind of services we can offer you. And also subscribe if you haven't, and tell your friends about our channel. And I will see you in the next segment. And until then, may the Lord bless you and enjoy your life.